It happened generations ago, 100 years or more, when my grandfather, George Decker, was a young man. Him and his family were at our wharf here in Lansing Meadows, and our neighbors, the Bartletts, were at their wharf. And it was late in the night, and they were putting up the fish, cutting the trouts, gutting, getting it ready to salt. And they heard a boat. They all of a sudden heard the splash as people were rowing. They heard the sound of people's voices. And my grandfather, who was a young man, said it wasn't French because they had experience with French fishermen. They knew it wasn't French. They couldn't understand the language. So they waited and waited for the boat to come in, and they could hear it getting closer. They could hear the splash of the oars as the people were rowing. And then they heard the boat when it tapped up against the shore and hit the rock. And it was silence. And they waited and waited to hear further movement, hear people getting out of the boat. And there was nothing. No boat, appeared. No visitors from the ship showed up on the shore, and they were puzzled. And my great-grandfather said, it's spirits. The next morning, someone that had been over in the Bartlett stage putting up fish came to visit, and he said, who was it that showed up at your wharf last night? And they said, nobody. And he said, well, we heard the boat come in, we heard the splash of the oars, we heard the people talking. And he said, there had to be somebody. And grandfather and his father said nobody showed up. They all heard the boat, they heard the people talking in a strange language, but nobody actually came ashore.